Welcome back to Todd Jeremy Hanger. Happy Thursday, I guess. Hope everybody's doing well and everything's going great. And hopefully this is better for you, finding out that Ghost Jaga is being reissued at BBTS and it's also up at Super 7. But I want to say that everything seems to get reissued. I know that it seems like something comes out, we miss it, and it's hopeless. Even HasLabs have a chance of being reissued, but everything seems to get reissued this day and age. We're going to start with this guy, and then we're going to move to this guy. I mean, I've got something to say about it, so we'll talk about it. We've got a lot to cover. Let's get into this real fast. Coming up. Alright, so the story behind this Ghost Jaga is that it was a Super 7 exclusive timed window. I don't know, it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. I ordered 2 of mine, and I did the same thing with the Chitara because it was a confusing time where a lot of these exclusives would show up later at BBTS. And I will say this, some Ghost Jaga showed up, but it sold out in 6 minutes. So yes, it did. I don't know about the Chitara, but some of the Ghost Jagas did show up at BBTS. But a lot of people thought, well, I'll just wait. See, if you order it through Super 7 themselves, you've got to pay an extra $7 shipping or something along those lines. And I hate doing that. But Ghost Jaga is one that's important. In fact, they already have the tooling, so it costs almost nothing but materials and labor and all that kind of stuff, but the factory charge. They didn't have to pay for the tooling for that figure. They could make a low quantity run and basically as many as were ordered and probably a handful of extras. And with that, the figure shot up in price because Ghost Jaga is Jaga through 90% of the show. Now Chitara, she still goes for like $100, but people don't seem to care if they don't have this in their collection, the glow in the dark. The most recent sold listings show it for around $200 for a $55 figure. When they first started showing up, there were only a handful on eBay. Instead of right now, you can get there's like 20 of them, but there are a handful, and they were selling for over $300 up to $350 in the first week to month of it being released because people had that FOMO. Well, they had the Mo, they already missed out, and I knew eventually it'd get reissued. I was hoping it would get reissued as a deluxe for $35 and less stuff. And it went the other direction. This one is going to be $65. The original one was $55, and so they already have the tooling. They've already made this before, and now they are making this for $65. Now it is different. It has a different packaging. We'll take a quick look at what differences I have found. Here's a side-by-side difference in packaging, and as you can see, the one on the left is the one that was touted as the UK exclusive. Now, a lot of people were saying it's a UK exclusive. Sellers on eBay were calling it the UK exclusive, and people were just referring to it as that. Now, one of the problems is the ambiguity that surrounds these releases. Now, we no longer get a preview, this is what's coming, it just shows up. And when this showed up, Brian was very vague on it, like he couldn't remember what was going on with this Ghost Jaga, and it was only in the UK at first. Now, I thought, and a lot of other people that were sort of reasonable were thinking that because it was a Super 7 exclusive, that maybe the UK, people in the UK got shafted on it, or they didn't want to pay $30 additional international shipping or whatever it would have cost, or whatever, so that made this a UK exclusive, and so we haven't heard anything else about it for 3 months. Now, here it is showing at BBTS and Super 7 site, probably Entertainment Earth down the road, and it is $65. But with that, think about all the people that already paid $300 for it, or even $150 to get the UK exclusive version, and that's the packaging differences. Also looking at the differences of the figures, I don't see much, but it does look like the new one is darker. Now, you can also chalk a lot of that up to the fact that the lighting from the people taking the pictures, and there's a lot of other factors that could get involved. I have looked at this when we first originally saw it pop up, and it's hard to tell if there truly are any differences But I do believe there'll be something different. Thinking that it's a true full production run and it's different from the first, some slight variation in color mixing could happen. It is possible. Oh, but Mike, you said everything gets reissued. This is just one figure. Okay. Let's just go down the spectrum here. And this is more than Super 7, by the way. We're going to end up with touching on a few other things here. But Wily Kit and Wily Cat were pushing 150, 200 each for a while when everyone thought, uh-oh, they missed the boat. I really feel like this was kind of like, we're going to teach them collectors a lesson. Don't complain about spending $55 on 2.8 ounces of plastic in a box, because we'll just withhold it from you. I don't feel like this is another run at all. I feel like they withheld it. I feel like so few sold originally that there was no way this hit the 2,000 or 5,000 MOQ or whatever Super 7's minimum order quantity is that they have set for their own profitability. I'm sure they could run 1,000 of something if they want to. I don't feel like this is a reissue. I think this was just the rest of the stock, and it's a tactic. And, you know, it's a tactic that worked. And they fueled the FOMO and now are cashing in at $65 a piece. The other one here is Slithe. Now, I got another Slithe reissued when they popped up for 4 hours one day. Mine's only going to charge me $55, so lucky me. But $65 now for the Slithe. I kind of feel like it's worth it because, not because the secondary market value, but because it's a good size figure. It's a bunch of heft. I picked up my Slithe the other day and said, this dude's got a lot of heft to it. But still, this was back, I think these were 45. I gotta look way back in the recesses in the archives. But the good thing about BBTS is you can see, go under your shipped orders and just look back to, you know, 2020 or whenever they shipped, and it'll tell you, and I think it was $45 back then, so it's $20 more than it was if that's the case. Then this is another one. So this, I said that they're very ambiguous about the releases, and when we saw the SDCC pop up, I never heard anyone say, and it'll be available everywhere after SDCC for $65. I didn't hear that. It made it sound like, and this is what got me 2 or 3 SDCCs where I overpaid for something just so I can have it, and then bam, it shows up at BBTS for the normal price, which normal is still excessive. I don't know. I'm actually going to hold out for a sell on this, and if I miss out, it's not the end of the world. It's supposed to be a free figure included in my Cat Slayer anyway, right? Now, Marvel Legends, Hasbro's done this. They've reissued this Kingpin. It's already sold out. So it's funny because people made a big deal about the reissue of Kingpin, and I guess it's a great figure. I picked one up on sale at a local comic shop, which was funny because it was like a month before the reissue came out, so they were still commanding a high price. And then my son actually got one for a good price too. But Kingpin, I collect very little Marvel Legends, so I'm in an area that I don't 100% know everything about it. But we've got this here. We've got this. It's sold out now, but this is Storm. But I like the one in the different costume better. I have both. I don't have much, but I have both Storms. But it's kind of a current hot button with people about this other Storm that's coming out. So it's like the other Storm's a little bit different, but similar, yet different, yet similar. I guess she shows more skin or something in the new one. I don't know. I am not a Marvel collector. I barely keep up with the news, and it's hard for me to pay attention to why people want 8 of the same figure. And don't talk about 8 Optimus Primes. That's a whole different story. Now, Hasbro does it with G.I. Joe Classified all of the time. Now, most recently, the Major Blood that got reissued. See, we all thought this would get the kind of retro treatment and look retro. And I have to admit, Super 7 already killed it with a really good retro version of this. But they went ahead and just put the Cobra Island stuff that was Target exclusive back in 2020, 2021, early collecting. And yeah, that's not a bad figure. I don't think it's a bad figure at all. But why put the same exact figure out? And this is another one where people paid double or triple the MSRP for the figure, and now this one will go to clearance because so many people already have that or went out of their way to spend more money to get the first one. What do they need this one for? And I do see people getting them and comparing them, and there's some slight differences, but at the end of the day, where's the retro? Same situation, but we finally got the retro of this, and I think the retro looks a little bit better than the original one. But the Viper was one that made me just not want to collect this line anymore. It's like you can't get Viper. I easily got everything else but Viper. Like, I had no trouble getting anything else but Viper. And then we had the exclusives that were hard to get down the road that started, like the Zartan, SDCC, and all that kind of stuff. But the Viper was crazy. Then it got reissued. And people lost their minds about Viper, including myself. I was really upset about it and disappointed. And gotta say that now you can still get it in stock. $26, I know, it's more than the $19.99 at Target, and you know, I went through great lengths. I dropped $1,000 on a friend's collection just to get 6 Vipers, so and then had to sell the rest of it off, which was a pain. But I have to say that at the end of the day, I'm glad that these Vipers are available, but everything gets reissued. Now there's this thing, I know it coincides with the Fantastic Four movie, but I'm looking at the core of this. It looks just like the one I have, just like the Doctor Doom that I have. Did they literally just take the base body of Doctor Doom and add a new cape and maybe a different head sculpt and a different whatever you want to call his dress and belt? So they dressed him, but they reskinned the same figure. It looks exactly like the same figure reskinned. And I know people that collect Marvel Legends are probably just so used to the precise exact same figure coming out with slightly different accessories to charge another $27. But I don't see anything wrong with the first one. I have no need for this new one, even though it looks cool. The first one looked cool too, but everything seems to get reissued. Now I'm going to stand by my bold prediction that we will eventually get a retro style Serpentor. We've already seen it. People are going to say, well, no, it's too big for retro. Yeah, they did it with Snow Serpent. It was a $35 deluxe figure. And literally having his staff and his sword, or I don't even know if he'll come with a snake. I don't even know how they scale it down, but I think that Serpentor is too important to not make a retro version of. And that's just the way I feel about it. I don't think they'll put the Chariot back out, but then again, you start thinking like Super 7, right? Hasbro and Super 7 think the same way when it comes to these reissues. And you got to think they've already got the tooling, so why not do something with that? It's a little on the crazy side, but I also see with the retro version of Snow Job coming eventually, and with that I want to do like a little side-by-side with the vintage one. And a huge shout out to Dallas Vintage Toys. They sold this. It was a pretty nice card. It's got a little price sticker damage, but $300 was what it sold for this Snow Job. I see us seeing a retro. So I put this up so you can see what does the vintage figure look like. What would they probably do different with this to make it look retro? That's the only reason I want to put this up. And I think we'd get everything in here. So a lot less stuff, but just what we need to make it retro. The skis, the backpack, the gun, and the handles, and that's it. And the backpack would be different. Retro backpack. I don't know. I don't know what they'll do. We'll see. But anyhow, this is another prediction of mine that it'll eventually happen. This and Serpentor. So this all started with Jaga, Ghost Jaga. If you're in the market for one and you don't want to spend $150 to $200 what they're asking right now on eBay, then pre-order yours. They won't be until October at either place, I don't think. And so with that, $65. If you order from Super 7, you get an $8 or 8% tariff charge plus $7 shipping. So why not just go through BBTS? I do, and I've got another one pre-ordered. I might do a video comparing the two, but by the time it comes out, I just don't see the point. I don't think it's going to matter. And there is a possibility that this floods the market and they go on sale, and yes, I'll get another one if they do. But let me know what you guys think about this. Was this helpful to you? Are you getting a Ghost Jaga now that it's reissued? What else would you like to see reissued? Like and subscribe to Deer Hanger out.